There's a brutal truth no man can escape. You don't lose a woman when you stop loving her. You lose her the moment she stops respecting you. And here's the part most men never learn. Respect is never given. It's never begged for. It's commanded through the boundaries you set and the backbone you refuse to bend. Today, I'm going to reveal 5 boundaries every man must set. Miss even one, and you'll feel invisible. Master all 5, and you'll command respect without saying a single word. So pay attention, because what you're about to hear could be the difference between being tolerated and being truly respected. Respect is in silence, not in the dramatic fights, not in the breakups, not even in the betrayals. Respect dies the very moment you let a woman, or anyone, treat you beneath your standards and you still show up like nothing happened. This is the raw, unfiltered truth. The second you accept disrespect, you've already signed away your power. It doesn't matter how long you've been together, how much you've invested, or how much you think she loves you. The moment you tolerate being mocked, ignored, belittled, or tested without consequence, something inside her shifts. She no longer sees you as the man she has to earn. She starts seeing you as the man she can use. And once that switch flips, desire begins to rot. The reality of disrespect. Disrespect doesn't always scream at you. It whispers, it hides behind jokes, sarcasm, just teasing, or passive-aggressive silence. It shows up when she interrupts you mid-sentence, when she mocks your goals as unrealistic, when she flirts with attention from other men and calls you insecure for noticing, when she vanishes for hours and pretends it's no big deal. Every one of these small cuts is a test. And here's the truth that most men refuse to face. Women don't test you to be cruel. They test you to feel your strength. They want to know if you are a man who stands firm or a man who folds. A man without boundaries is not safe. He's soft. And soft ground is never trusted. It's walked on. The Stoic view on disrespect. The Stoic philosophers understood this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Applied to relationships. This means never let what is wrong slide just because you fear conflict. By tolerating what violates your standards, you are complicit in your own downfall. Seneca said, "You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. When you stay after being disrespected, you teach her that your presence is cheap, your dignity negotiable, and your respect for yourself is weak." Why men stay after disrespect? So why do so many men stay? Why do they laugh off insults, excuse disloyalty, or chase after women who clearly treat them like an option? It's because they're addicted not to love, but to approval. Deep down, they fear that if they walk away, they'll be alone forever. They believe that enduring disrespect is safer than facing solitude. But here's the paradox. The more disrespect you tolerate, the lonelier you actually become. Because even if she stays, she doesn't stay for love. She stays for convenience. And you feel it. You feel the coldness in her tone, the absence of admiration in her eyes, the quiet dismissal in her words. You're in a relationship, but you're unseen. The blueprint consequence without chaos. So how do you stop this cycle? How do you reclaim respect without turning into a screaming tyrant or a manipulative game player? You learn the art of consequence without chaos. When disrespect happens, 1. Call it out once. Calm. Firm. Direct. Example: don't speak to me like that again. 2. State the boundary. If it happens again, I'm done. 3. Follow through. No second warnings. No debates. No begging. You don't raise your voice. You don't explain 10 times. You don't collapse emotionally. You simply enforce the boundary with clarity. And here's the magic. The moment you do this, one of two things will happen. She respects you more and levels up. She walks away. Both outcomes are victories. Because either you gain her respect or you free yourself from someone who never deserved your energy. Practical examples. She mocks your dream career. You don't argue or try to prove your ambition. You say, I don't share my vision with people who belittle it. Then you go build it. She ghosts you for a day, then reappears. You don't reward her with attention. You disappear longer. You make your absence felt. She disrespects you in public. You don't laugh it off. You address it once in private. Calmly. If it repeats, you exit the relationship. Every action sends a message. When you tolerate disrespect, the message is, my self-worth depends on your attention. And that is the fastest death sentence to attraction. Respect beyond women. This principle isn't just about women, it's about life. Your boss, your friends, your family, everyone treats you based on what you tolerate. If you allow constant interruptions, you'll never be heard. If you allow exploitation at work, you'll never be promoted. If you allow your friends to take advantage, you'll never be valued. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about filtering who gets close. They are the gatekeepers of your energy. Building the inner strength. The hardest part about enforcing boundaries is not the woman's reaction, it's your own emotions. It's the voice inside that says, what if I lose her? What if she hates me? What if I end up alone? This is where Stoicism sharpens you. The Stoics trained themselves to master their inner world, to detach from outcomes, to embrace solitude as strength rather than punishment. When you say no to disrespect, you're not just setting a standard for her, you're rewiring your own identity. You're proving to yourself that you are a man who values dignity over validation, and over time, that identity becomes unshakable. You no longer fear loss, because you've built something greater than her approval, self-respect, transformation through boundaries. Here's what happens when you stop rewarding disrespect. Women look at you differently. They either rise to your standard or they vanish. Men respect you more because they know you won't tolerate nonsense. Opportunities open because people sense your strength and clarity. You stop being the man who explains, defends, or negotiates his worth. You become the man who embodies it. And the irony, when you stop begging for respect, you start commanding it. Closing punch. Never reward disrespect. Not once. Not ever. Because every time you allow it, you teach the world you can be bought with crumbs. But every time you reject it, you remind the world you are not here to be tolerated, you are here to be respected. A man who honors his dignity is not only loved, he is admired. He is feared. He is unforgettable. If respect is the backbone of masculinity, then peace is its heartbeat. Without peace, a man is just noise reactive, chaotic, and scattered. With peace, a man becomes untouchable. Most men spend their lives chasing respect from women, validation from peers, and approval from the world. But here's the secret. No one tells you the foundation of all respect begins with peace of mind. Why peace is power? Peace is not passive. It's not weakness. It's not sitting in silence because you're too afraid to speak. Peace is active. It's guarded. It's defended like your life depends on it, because it does. A man without peace wakes up already behind. He's distracted by notifications, pulled into arguments, drained by people who don't deserve his time. He lives on edge, constantly reacting, never creating. And women can feel it. They sense when your mind is scattered, when your emotions are fragile, when your time isn't sacred. And the brutal truth: no woman respects a man who cannot protect his own inner world. Because if you can't protect your mind, how could you ever protect her? The Stoic lens. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That is the essence of guarding your peace. The Stoics didn't seek comfort or external validation. They sought mastery of themselves, an unshakable core that no insult, no betrayal, no loss could disturb. Seneca wrote, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." When you leak your energy to everyone and everything, you stand for nothing. Peace means choosing carefully what enters your mind, your schedule, your space, the leaks that destroy men. Most men don't lose their peace in one big event. They lose it drop by drop. Every text they respond to instantly, every pointless argument they engage in, every chaotic friend they keep around out of guilt, every late-night call from a woman who never respected them in daylight, every favor they say yes to when their soul is screaming no. Moment seems small, but together they bleed a man dry. He becomes hollow, resentful, and exhausted. And when a man is drained of peace, he is drained of power. Guarding your peace in practice. So, how do you guard your peace? You become unavailable to chaos. Not by running from the world, but by filtering it. Your phone, turn off notifications. Decide when you respond. The man who is always available is never respected. Your time. Schedule it around your mission, not other people's moods. If she texts you at midnight with drama, silence is your answer. Your space, keep it clean, organized, disciplined. A chaotic room breeds a chaotic mind. Your company. Surround yourself only with people who uplift, not those who drain. If someone poisons your peace, they lose access. No arguments, no explanations. Peace is also about boundaries without explanations. You say no because your time, your mind, your energy are sacred. That's it. No debate. Women and peace. Here's the irony. Many women will subconsciously test your peace, not because they want to ruin you, but because they want to feel your strength She'll start a fight over nothing. She'll withdraw her attention to see if you panic. She'll ask loaded questions, hoping to shake your composure. If every time she pokes, you jump, she knows you have no core. But if you stay calm, if you hold the silence longer than her confusion, if you respond only when you choose to, she feels something she rarely feels in today's world: security. A man who guards his peace commands a woman's respect without needing to raise his voice. His calm becomes her anchor. His presence becomes her home. The invisible flex peace is invisible, but it's the ultimate flex. You walk into a room and people feel it. You speak, and others listen, not because you're loud, but because your silence carries weight. You don't chase attention. You don't need validation. You don't crumble when people criticize you. And because of that, people can't help but respect you. Peace makes you magnetic. Chaos makes you disposable. The cost of leaking peace. Every time you give away your peace, you pay with your soul. When you argue with people beneath you, you shrink. When you explain yourself to doubters, you waste your breath. When you entertain chaos, you betray your own mission. And once your peace is gone, everything else collapses. Your focus, your health, your relationships, your respect, they all depend on the fortress of your inner world. The discipline of peace guarding. Your peace requires discipline. Wake up early, not because it's trendy, but because those quiet hours are your fortress. Train your body, not just for looks, but because physical discipline sharpens mental discipline. Read daily, not to look smart, but to remind yourself how small your problems are. Take walks alone, not out of loneliness, but to strengthen your ability to stand by yourself. Clean your environment, not to impress anyone, but because chaos cannot survive where order rules. Every one of these habits reinforces your sovereignty. They remind you that peace isn't stumbled upon, it's built. The ripple effect. When you guard your peace, everything changes. Women stop testing you because they realize they can't shake you. Friends respect your time because they know access to you is earned. Employers, clients, and peers trust you because you are calm under pressure. Your life starts to filter itself. The wrong people exit. The right people lean closer. Opportunities find you because calm attracts clarity. And clarity attracts everything. Chaos repels. The Stoic warrior. The Stoics were warriors not because they conquered nations, but because they conquered themselves. They faced storms without being moved. They accepted loss without despair. They lived with a peace so unshakable that even death didn't terrify them. To guard your peace is to follow in their footsteps. It is to become the kind of man who cannot be lured into drama, chaos, guilt, or distraction. The kind of man who radiates a quiet strength that cannot be faked. Closing punch guard your peace like gold, because it is. A man who owns his mind owns his world. A man who defends his peace commands respect without ever demanding it. And the man who refuses to trade his peace for comfort, chaos, or attention becomes truly rare, truly untouchable. So ask yourself, what poisons your peace today? Cut it out. What protects it? Build more of it. Because the day you stop leaking your peace is the day you stop being ordinary. And the moment you stop being ordinary, respect doesn't just find you, it chases you. Mystery is magnetic. Oversharing kills it. Every man has been told at some point, open up more, be vulnerable, share everything. And many men believed that if they poured out their entire soul, their fears, their anxieties, their insecurities, the woman would lean closer, admire them, and never leave. But reality tells a different story. The moment you dump everything on her shoulders, attraction begins to fade. Because here's the truth, a woman doesn't want to carry you, she wants to discover you. The trap of oversharing. When you overshare, you make a fatal mistake. You confuse emotional release with connection. You think that by giving her all your doubts, traumas, and every thought in your head, you're building intimacy. In reality, you're building weight. And she feels that weight not as closeness, but as burden. Instead of craving you, she starts pitying you. Instead of respecting you, she starts questioning your stability. Instead of leaning in, she begins to pull away. Why? Because deep down, women don't fall in love with projects. They fall in love with men who carry their own weight, who reveal their depth slowly, intentionally, in ways that keep her intrigued. The Stoic approach, Stoic philosophy, teaches restraint. Epictetus said, keep silence for the most part, and speak only when necessary, and in few words. This doesn't mean you become cold or dishonest. It means you value your words, your emotions, and your story enough to guard them. You don't hand your inner world to anyone who asks. You let people earn it. A Stoic man shares with precision. He speaks when it serves the mission, not when it satisfies his craving for comfort. He opens up strategically, not desperately. Why mystery matters? Mystery isn't about manipulation. It's about polarity. Attraction thrives on tension, and tension thrives on the unknown. Think about the men women admire most. They don't reveal everything about themselves right away. They give glimpses, not blueprints. They share just enough to spark curiosity, leaving room for imagination. When you overshare, you kill that tension. You rob her of the chase, the discovery, the unfolding of your character over time. You become predictable, and predictability is the death of desire. What oversharing looks like. Oversharing isn't just about talking too much. It shows up in subtle ways, telling her your financial struggles on the first date, unloading every detail about your childhood trauma without context, confessing every insecurity in hopes she'll reassure you, constantly explaining yourself, your motives, your fears, talking more about your problems than about your mission. These habits don't make her feel closer. They make her feel like she has to mother you. And the moment she feels like your caretaker, the polarity between you collapses. The balance, vulnerability versus oversharing. Now, let's be clear. Stoicism doesn't mean bottling everything up. You're not a robot. You bleed. You doubt. You struggle. The difference lies in how you carry it. A respected man feels deeply, but moves intentionally. He doesn't dump his pain on others to lighten his load. He integrates it. He journals it. He lifts it in silence. And when he does share, it's in doses that amplify his strength, not replace it. For example, oversharing, "I'm so scared of failing. I don't know what to do. I feel lost." Strategic vulnerability. Failure is a possibility, but I'm committed to seeing this through. Both acknowledge emotion, but one radiates stability. The other screams instability. Practical steps to stop oversharing. 1. Pause before speaking. Ask yourself, am I sharing this to build connection or to seek validation? If it's validation, hold it. 2. Give glimpses, not dumps. Reveal pieces of your story over time. Let her earn deeper access. 3. Protect your mission. Keep the details of your vision sacred. Speak about it with confidence, not desperation. 4. Use action, not words. Show your strength through discipline, not endless explanations. 5. Sit with your pain first. Journal, train, or meditate before sharing. Filter your emotions so you reveal strength, not chaos. The respect that mystery creates. When you resist the urge to overshare, something shifts. She begins to lean in, curious. She wants to know more, to earn your trust, to unravel your depth slowly. This curiosity fuels attraction. It keeps her engaged, invested, wondering. She respects you because she sees you as a man with control over his emotional world, not a man begging for relief. And here's the paradox. The less you chase connection through confession, the more authentic connection you build, because respect and attraction grow in the space between what's said and what's still unknown. The Stoic warrior's presence. The most powerful men rarely talk about themselves. They don't feel the need to be understood by everyone. They radiate presence. Instead of spilling stories, they let their actions speak. When you practice this restraint, you become rare. You're not just another man seeking validation. You're a man with a center, a man who navigates life calmly, mysteriously, with the quiet strength of someone who knows exactly who he is. That kind of man doesn't beg for respect. He commands it. Closing punch. Don't overshare. Don't turn your story into a brochure. Treat it like a treasure chest, revealed only to those who earn it. Because the moment you give everything away, there's nothing left for her to pursue. But when you preserve your mystery, you keep her chasing. You keep her intrigued. You keep her respecting the depth she hasn't fully touched yet. A man who overshares becomes a project. A man who carries himself with restraint becomes unforgettable. Control is not the absence of emotion. Control is the presence of mastery. Every man feels anger, jealousy, fear, and anxiety. These emotions are part of being human. But here's the difference between weak men and strong men. Weak men react. Strong men respond. And the truth is brutal the moment your emotions are at the mercy of a woman's moods or anyone else's actions. You've already handed them the steering wheel to your life. The trap of emotional reactivity. Imagine this. She makes a sarcastic comment in front of your friends. Your face flushes. You lash out. You argue. Suddenly the frame is lost. You're no longer the calm, steady man. You're the boy chasing validation in the middle of chaos. Or she pulls away, stops texting for hours. And you panic. You blow up her phone. You demand answers. Now she knows she can control your state with silence. This is emotional reactivity. It's living as a slave to your triggers. And nothing kills respect faster, because when she realizes she can shake you at will, she no longer trusts you to protect her, to lead her, or even to lead yourself. The Stoic mindset Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Stoicism doesn't deny emotion, it refines it. The Stoics felt deeply, but they refused to be ruled by those feelings. They trained themselves to create space between stimulus and response. In that space lived freedom, power, and dignity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is emotional sovereignty, the ability to own your inner world, no matter how chaotic the outer world becomes. Why women test emotional control? Let's be clear, women will test your emotions, not always consciously, but instinctively. She starts an argument over nothing. She asks a loaded question just to see how you respond. She goes cold without reason. She's not always doing it to hurt you. She's doing it to feel your strength. To know if you're the kind of man who collapses under pressure or the kind who holds steady when the storm hits. And here's the paradox. If you pass the test, if you stay calm, grounded, unshaken, she doesn't just relax. She melts. Because in a world full of men who fold, you become the anchor she didn't even know she craved, the cost of reactivity. But if you fail, if you lash out, beg, argue, or spiral, respect dies instantly. She sees that your emotions are at her mercy. She knows she can control you with moods and silence. She realizes your strength is situational, not foundational. And once that realization sets in, attraction de case. Because no woman respects a man who loses himself every time she pushes a button, building emotional mastery. So how do you stop being reactive? How do you build emotional sovereignty? 1. Awareness. Notice your triggers. Don't fight them. Just name them. The moment you recognize the spark, you create distance from it. 2. Pause. When you feel the heat rising, don't speak. Don't text. Don't act. Breathe. Give yourself space. 3. Choose response. Instead of obeying the emotion, decide deliberately. Speak calmly. Move slowly. Withdraw if needed. 4. Detach from outcome. Stop fearing loss. The reason men overreact is because they're terrified of rejection. Once you stop being owned by outcomes, you become untouchable. Practical scenarios. She insults you in public instead of snapping. You look at her, calm and steady. Don't speak to me like that again. No anger, just clarity, then silence. She withdraws attention instead of chasing. You match her energy with calm distance. You don't panic. You don't explain. You let her feel your absence. She creates drama instead of engaging. You walk away, not as an escape, but as an act of power. Chaos doesn't get my energy. Every time you refuse to react, you train her and the world that you are a man who cannot be moved from his frame. The warrior's stillness. Think of the strongest men you've ever admired. They don't explode at every insult. They don't crumble at rejection. They don't panic when plans fall apart. They are still, silent, observant. They wait. They move only when they choose to. That stillness is terrifying to weak men, magnetic to strong men, and irresistible to women. Because in a noisy, chaotic world, the man who stays calm becomes the rarest presence of all. The ripple effect of control, emotional mastery, doesn't just transform relationships, it transforms your entire life. In business, your calm under pressure earns trust and leadership. In friendships, people respect your steadiness. In family, you become the anchor in conflict. In every room you walk into, your energy shifts the dynamic because you radiate stability when everyone else is lost in noise. This is why Stoics were revered. They weren't the loudest men. They were the calmest in storms. Discipline builds mastery. Emotional control is trained like a muscle. Every time you resist the urge to react, you grow stronger. Practice silence instead of defending your ego. Practice patience instead of chasing instant relief. Practice discipline through physical training, because a strong body sharpens a strong mind. Practice journaling your thoughts instead of dumping them impulsively. Over time, the space between stimulus and response grows wider, and in that space, you evolve from reactive to sovereign. Closing punch. No emotional reactivity. That is the mark of a man who cannot be broken, because when the world realizes it cannot control you with anger, silence, rejection, or chaos, you become free. And freedom is the ultimate form of respect. A reactive man is predictable. A sovereign man is unstoppable. So choose today. Will you keep handing your power to every mood swing, every insult, every test? Or will you master yourself so completely that nothing outside of you can move the ground beneath your feet? Because the man who commands his emotions doesn't just earn respect, he commands it quietly, powerfully, eternally. The most dangerous man is not the one with the loudest voice, the biggest muscles, or the most money. The most dangerous man is the one who can walk away, because when you are willing to walk away, you cannot be controlled. And a man who cannot be controlled commands respect everywhere he goes. The fear that keeps men trapped. Too many men stay in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, friendships that disrespect them. Why? Because they're afraid. Afraid of being alone. Afraid of starting over. Afraid of what others will think. So, they shrink. They compromise. They settle. They say, "It's not that bad," and slowly, piece by piece, they trade away their dignity for comfort. But here's the brutal truth. The more you fear walking away, the less respect you'll ever have. Women can feel it. A woman knows instantly if you're staying with her because you choose to, or because you're addicted to her presence. If you're terrified of losing her, if your life revolves around keeping her happy at the expense of your values, she will test you endlessly. She knows she can cross your boundaries without consequence, because you'll never leave. But if she senses that you're only there because she brings peace, growth, and alignment into your life. And that the moment she disrespects that, you'll walk. Everything changes. She steps up. She respects you. She watches her own behavior, because she knows she can lose you at any time. It's not cruelty. It's clarity, the Stoic principle of detachment. The Stoics understood this long before modern dating coaches ever existed. Seneca said, "He is most powerful who has himself in his own power." Detachment doesn't mean coldness. It means loyalty to your values above all. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do and say and think. To live with this awareness is to live with freedom. You stop clinging to things that insult your soul. You stop begging for scraps. You stop fearing loss because loss is inevitable anyway. The strength of walking away. When you walk away from disrespect, you communicate one thing clearly: I will not trade my self-respect for your presence. And that message echoes louder than any speech, any argument. A plea. It is the silent thunder of boundaries enforced. Walk away from the woman who mocks your values. Walk away from the job that drains your spirit. Walk away from the friends who betray your trust. Walk away from anyone or anything that costs you your identity. Because the moment you compromise your standards just to keep something, you've already lost yourself. What walking away is not. Walking away is not manipulation. It's not a power game. It's not threatening to leave just to scare her into compliance. That's insecurity in disguise. Walking away is quiet, firm, and final. When the line has been crossed, it's choosing dignity over desperation. It's proving to yourself that your life is too valuable to waste in the wrong place. Practical examples. She disrespects you repeatedly. You don't beg for change. You exit. Calmly. Permanently. Your boss undervalues you. You don't whine. You build skills. Find better opportunities. And leave on your terms. Your friends drag you into chaos. You don't argue. You simply disappear from the circle. Every exit creates space for something better, and every time you walk away from what weakens you, you grow stronger. The fear of loneliness. But what if I end up alone? This is the fear that chains men to misery. But loneliness is not the enemy. Loneliness is the forge. It's where you sharpen your edge, rediscover your mission, and build a life so strong that only the worthy can enter it. The man who is willing to be alone is the man who will never be desperate again. How walking away changes you. When you embrace this boundary, everything in your life recalibrates. Women, they respect you more because they know you won't tolerate nonsense. Men, they look up to you because you set a standard. They're too afraid to set themselves. Life opportunities find you because clarity attracts clarity. You rise above mediocrity. You stop being a man who clings. You become a man who chooses. The ripple of detachment. Walking away isn't the end. It's the beginning. The moment you leave what disrespects you, you gain more than you lose. You gain freedom. You gain clarity. You gain self-respect. You gain space for growth. And ironically, the same people who once tested you will look back and realize they lost access to something rare, something powerful, something they may never touch again. The Stoic warrior. To walk away is to embody the ultimate Stoic strength, indifference to what doesn't serve your soul. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Walking away is freedom in action. It's not heartless. It's divine. Because the man who can leave everything behind at any moment is the man who cannot be enslaved by anything. Closing punch. Always be willing to walk away, because the man who stays out of fear is already broken. But the man who leaves out of strength is unstoppable. Never trade your values for comfort. Never beg for crumbs when you were born to feast. Never cling to what disrespects your soul. Walk away, not because you don't care, but because you care too much about who you are becoming. And when you do, you'll discover the paradox. The moment you no longer need respect, you command it. That is Stoic masculinity. That is true power. Respect isn't something you ask for. It's something you embody. And now, you know the 5 boundaries every man must set. Never reward disrespect. Guard your peace. Don't overshare. Control your emotional reactivity. And always, always be willing to walk away. If you live by these boundaries, you won't have to beg for respect. You'll command it. People will feel it before you even speak. Women will look at you differently. Men will measure themselves against you, and the world will rise or fall based on the standards you've built. But here's the truth. Knowledge means nothing without action. Every second you tolerate disrespect is a second you delay your greatness. Every day you stay where you don't belong is a day you betray the man you were born to be. So draw your line, stand behind it, and watch how your presence transforms. Final emotional punch. One day, the same people who doubted you, disrespected you, or tested, you will see you again, and they won't even recognize you. They'll realize they lost access to a man who refuses to be broken, and that realization will haunt them forever. Because respect isn't given, it's designed. And you just became the architect of your life. If this message struck something deep inside you, don't let it fade. Lock it in right now. Drop a comment below. I choose respect over validation. Subscribe to this channel for more Stoic truths that will sharpen you into the man you were always meant to be. Like this video. Share it with a brother who needs to hear it. And let's spread a movement of men who no longer beg, chase, or settle, but who rise, lead, and command respect. This is just the beginning.